So once again, welcoming everybody that who has joined me today. We will be talking about reclaiming our inner power. And I'm hoping that the space that we are about to create for ourselves, we can create, we can take this opportunity to observe and reflect and see what it is that you need to take from today's conversation, and how we can contribute to your inner power together. And when we do talk about reclaiming our inner power, it's about first asking ourselves individually that what does it mean for me to even have inner power? What is my idea, or what does inner power even look like? And why is it important for us to cultivate that? And what are some of the things that have taken that inner power from us that we can start going back to ourselves in order to reclaim that in our life, and why is it even beneficial? So these are some of the things that we will be exploring, and my hope today is that reflecting, observing, and seeing what are the areas, which area can we work on in order to cultivate and reclaim our inner power so we can live our best, authentic, and a peaceful, healthy life for ourselves and for the ones that are around us. So I invite you all. We'll take a couple of minutes in order to just create that space for ourselves wherever you are. So if you can, let's all put our feet on the ground and just take deep breath in and take a deep breath out, so we can be present in the moment, as wherever we are, irrespective of the environment and irrespective of whatever that's going on around us. Okay. So putting your feet on the ground, sitting straight up on your chair or however you're sitting down, and taking a deep breath in and release. Take another deep breath in and release. And one last time, take another deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And right now, gathering all your energy, starting from your feet to your legs, your knees, your thighs, and now right here on your solar plex. I want you to take a moment and feel what it is that you're feeling in your stomach. Do you feel a sense of tension? Do you feel a sense of any kind of any emotions that you're holding? Just take a deep breath in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, just relax and release anything that's been tense, any tense emotions. And now feel the same energy traveling up. Up your chest, your throat. Relaxing the muscles in and around your neck, your face, your jaws, your eyes. And bringing the focus and attention right here in the center of your forehead. Even if there's any thoughts that are coming, just watch them, release, and let go while going back to your place of peace, calm, and relaxation. find that place within of calm, peace, and love. Om Shanti. So, so first of all, I hope everybody's able to hear me. I mean, I can't see most of you. I can see some of you, and I hope all of you can see me clear and hear me clear. And if there's anything, please do leave the comment here in the chat. So I know that you're all connected. We're all connected and we're on the same page here. So if I don't hear anything, I'm going to assume that we can hear, and we will carry on and begin. So talking about inner power. Inner power means different to different different people, but really what it comes down to is how do I choose to show up in my life, whether it's professional, whether it's my personal, whether it's social, or in any kind of interaction. Not only do how I show up physically, but how do I show up mentally and emotionally? How am I responding and how am I reacting to the things and the people that are around me? Because if whatever that I carry within me is what I share around me. So one good observation I invite you to make today is that what are you experiencing in your relationships? What are you experiencing in your environment? And how are you showing up for yourself in your own space? Meaning that when we talk about inner power, how do you know that you feel that somewhere you have lost that part of yourself? Do you find yourself feeling powerless in situations? Do you find you feel hopeless in certain situations? Do you feel that you lack of courage? Do you feel discouraged showing up in certain areas of your life? Again, like I said, it could be in your personal, professional, your social. How joyful do you feel in your life right now to the situations and the things that you're showing up? See, right now we're all living this situation of pandemic, and pandemic has created a lot of fear and doubt of the unknown of anything that is happening. So in the midst of this global shift that is going on, it is impacting every single one of us differently. So whatever that already is within all of us is what's being triggered. So this is a really, really good opportunity for us to see that what has it done for me, meaning that what part of me is it, which fears has it inflicted within me, which is a good indication of coming back to the self and taking your power back. You know, we always find escape in order to deal with the very things that needs our attention. So right now, I would like for you to reflect on, or maybe if you have a pen and paper and piece of paper and pen, write down that what are some of the things that are going on in your mind? Which area are you looking to empower yourself in, so you can take that control back and show up the way you would like to show up, other than how others would want you to, or they would like for you to show up. Because most often when we lose our power, that means we've given control to external forces, right? So take a moment. I'm going to give you all a few seconds and ask yourself the question that what is it in my life that I would like to take the control back, and how? See, I can give you all the answers, but every single one of us are on our own journey. Every one of us have experienced different things. Although we experience the same emotions, but at the end of the day, it is different for everybody. And I want this to be reflective for you, that what right now you feel in the areas you feel discouraged, or you feel hopeless, or you feel that you need to take you lack energy in. So certain things that you think that empowers you, that gives you the energy, automatically gives you it becomes a form of inspiration for you. But there are certain things where you have to do, you do them, but however, you're not, your heart is not there. You have to push yourself to get it done, and you feel that you have no energy to do so. Whereas you're the same person showing up differently for different things. So take a moment and please do write that down. And also I want you to reflect that which areas right now in your life you crave change. You want to see the change. Even though you have taken many steps, you have experienced success at some level, but it's not where you choose to be internally, mentally, emotionally, or physically. These are the things that have led you to burnout, to the things where you put in your so much time, and you put in your energy, you put in your effort, and yet you have experienced no success in. And we will be discussing how to show up differently by taking your power in and changing the course of the same situation, yet you being in control versus it controlling you. So I'm hoping by this time you have something down for you. So why is it, and what is it, where you have been wanting to create a positive change in your life, and yet with little or no success, you have not been able to do so? See, what happens is we're the being of our habits. Some things that anything that we do over and over again repeatedly has become our pattern of thoughts. Therefore, it has become pattern of our habits. So what are some of those habits, and what are some of the things that you are doing that are contributing to that, to your, that's contributing not to your successful outcome? What are some of the thoughts that you're creating unconsciously that are affecting your energy? If all of you have taken the Raj Yoga course, you all know that our thoughts are the seeds that that we plant, that grows and gives us the fruit of our actions. So as are my thoughts, so are my feelings. And as are my feelings, so are my emotions. Therefore, my action equals the result that, or the consequences that I'm facing today. So what are some of the thoughts that are you creating, and how you know whether your thoughts are on the positive, whether they're on the negative, is the way you feel. In your body, where do you feel the pain? When you wake up in the morning, how do you feel? Do you feel energetic, or do you feel fatigued? Do you feel motivated and you feel excited, or you feel lack of courage or even motivation? When someone calls you, how are you happy to talk to them, or do you feel a resistance to answer the call, because you know it will ask something of you that you're not willing to give? Do you find yourself saying yes to the things while you say no to yourself? And so these are all the things that I invite you to reflect on, because these are very, very good indications of how and where you are losing and your inner power, because you're giving it away to situations, to circumstances, and to individuals due to whatever your own beliefs are. We've been conditioned in certain ways. We've been conditioned to please. We've been conditioned to be who internally there's a conflict within of who we really want to be. So that disconnection from where you want to be and where you are today is where you're losing your power, because you're giving it away. So the more and more you start connecting to yourself, the more and more you start coming closer to you and observing your inner world, and start connecting to your inner world, irrespective of weaknesses or strength, irrespective of whatever it is, without judging it, is where lies your power. Do you all agree that it's not the things that we have? It's not the education. It's not anything else outside of us that shows who we are. It's what we carry inside of us. It's what we carry inside of us here, mentally and in our emotions. I want you all to sit back. You can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And just relax. As I sit here, observing and looking at my world inside of me, deep inside, I realize that there's a change that I crave deep inside. There are things that I've been doing unconsciously that has led me to feel either burnout, and I know I need to make a meaningful change, but somewhere, somehow remain stuck and feel stuck. And I continue to go back to the familiar things because I feel a sense of safety there. So let me ask myself that, what is it that I fear? I may not know the answer right now. However, this is a question that I open to myself, to my mind, and I trust it will show up to me as and when it is needed. It will show up to me in the right time, in the right form, with the right people to do the right thing. So another question that I would like for you to ask, or yourself, for your own reflection, is that when we are on a crossroad of making a choice and decision, what are some of the fears that are showing up, especially now, whatever that, as I was saying, that we're in this shift all together, and a lot of things are being triggered that are already pre-existing. So what are your fears that are showing up for you? Is it the fear of separation? Is it the fear of loss? Is it the fear of acceptance, of rejection, of judgment? Because even though we all have those, but the degree of it varies. And irrespective of whatever it is, here are a few things that I would like to invite you to do that will help you regain your inner power so you can live your life the way you choose to live. First one is acceptance. Acceptance of what? Acceptance of how things are as they are, and accepting the fact that I cannot control what is happening outside of me, but I do have control of how I think about things and how I choose to show up to it. And what I mean by showing up to is, which leads me to the number two, my response and my reaction. And this is one of the biggest area where we lose our own power, where we give it to others. For example, if somebody says something or they do something, if you already have been irritated about something, if you already are annoyed about something previously, now whatever that's been triggering you, if it's going to trigger you to the point where you become angry and you lash out and say things to whoever you're involved with, is a big indication that you have given your power away. So in those moments, what are some of the things that you can do to respond to things versus reacting to them, is by taking a pause and relax. Maybe take a deep breath and count backward 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to regain and come back to regain your energy, because your energy is one of the most, you can say, your treasure that you have. And who, where, and how you choose to share it with, it's a big indicator of where your power lies or how you take back your power. So respond versus reacting. And another thing with this is, I know it's easy to say, you know what, don't react to things, take a pause and relax. So what are some of the things are you doing when you're taking a pause and you're relaxing is also very important. Meaning, having good communication. It's art that you develop pre-hand. It's like a muscle that you develop. For example, how you talk to yourself is how you would talk to others. So that's another area I would highly recommend, and I would invite you to take a moment with yourself every morning. That what are some of the thoughts or dialogue that you're having with yourself about yourself? Are you empowering yourself with powerful thoughts by reminding yourself your own truth? And what is your truth? Your truth is that you're a powerful being, you're a peaceful being, but are you reminding yourself of that? Or are you having a dialogue with yourself? Or are you telling yourself that, oh, this is not available to me, or I'm not worthy of respect, or I'm not enough to do whatever anybody else wants me to do, or I'm not enough for anything. See, these dialogues, internal dialogues, are very, very key. And which leads me to maintaining your standard. And what does that even mean? And what does that even look like? Let me ask you a question. How many of you have told yourself or have instructed yourself what is okay with you and what is not okay with you? For example, growing up, if siblings or in your household, talking negative or talking down to someone was normal and is familiar, have you been able to take a pause and realize that, okay, this is not okay with me because it makes me feel in a certain way. It makes me feel disrespectful. Have you taken a pause to stop and disrupt that pattern? Or is that pattern continuing on with you still? Because again, how we talk to ourselves, what we have inside of us, is what we're going to pass on to not only others, but generations on. So it's very important to see those patterns and disrupt them. And set up standards for yourself, meaning setting up boundaries for yourself. boundaries of what is okay with you and what is not okay with you, what you will accept from others and what you will not accept from others and yourselves. And first one is having belittling, discouraging a communication with the self and accepting it from others. And that comes down to, which leads me to the other point, becoming your own boss. I know I don't know if you've heard of this term, that how do you become your own boss? It's like when when you're at work, you take order from your boss, correct? From your manager or whomever. So they give you instructions and you follow those instructions, whether you like it or you don't like it, right? Sometimes we'll complain, we'll have a lot of things to say, but yet it is something that we do. So similarly, give yourself instructions, meaning give your mind instructions, because your mind is the most powerful tool that you'll have. It always tries to take you away from the pain, and it wants to take you closer to pleasure. So make things familiar to your mind, the things that you want to experience. If you want to if you would like to have more loving, more kind, more peaceful relationships with others and yourself, then make more of that familiar to your mind. And how do you do that? By activating your 5 senses. It's about taking care of yourself. The more you practice self-care, the more you're teaching your mind how and what it feels like to be loved and to love. How peace feels like So even one of the practices, very powerful practice that you can develop within you, is giving yourself 5 minutes of just yourself in silence, and ask your mind that, what does peace feel like to me? How does it feel to be peaceful? Right? Being at peace means I'm calm, I'm relaxed. My thoughts, my words, and my feelings, they're one. They're aligned. It doesn't matter what is happening around me. I am calm. So the more and more you practice that, you're teaching your mind how it feels and what it feels to be at peace. So if you like, we can all experiment with this. Would you like to experiment with that? Maybe we'll give ourselves 1 minute. So again, wherever you are sitting, take a deep breath. Another deep breath out and just relax.
Hello? Hi.
Yes?
Okay. How your mom doing? Oh my God.
Sorry, did somebody have a question there? Okay, I think I'm just gonna mute. Okay. Sorry, one thing I would like to request you all is that if you have any comments or you have any questions, please, you can leave it in the chat, so everybody is able to benefit from the space. But I hope you all can hear me though, right? You can maybe raise your hand and tell me, yeah? Okay, good. It's difficult because it's different when we're face to face, but it seems like here I'm talking to a blank screen or I'm talking to myself. So please do share anything that you may have. So going back to our experiment. So let's take another deep breath and relax. And bring your attention to the center of your forehead. Peace. What does it feel like for me to be at peace? I take a deep, reflective observation within. I observe my body. It's like I'm scanning it from head to toe. And I scan it for any kind of strain, pain, hurt even. And wherever my attention goes, my energy flows. So if there's a certain part of my body that is in pain or needs my attention, it goes there. And I tell myself, I instruct myself to release. I release. I release. I release. I release any kind of pain, hurt, resistance, and I just be in peace. Let me see and observe, what does peace feel like to me? How does it feel? And how am I being when I'm at peace? I'm calm. I'm relaxed. I'm more open. I'm open to give and to receive. There's no conflict within me. There's a sense of alignment, and I'm calm. I'm safe. I'm protected and guided. So this was just a very small example of anything that you would like to cultivate within you. You take few moments, even a matter of a second, and you reflect back on how it feels, and not only how it feels in your body, but how it feels here in the mind and emotionally. So the more and more you develop this muscle or exercise, it will strengthen your inner peace. And inner peace, we know, is the mother of your inner power. Because when you are at peace, there's no way you will show up any differently. There's no way you will react to things ending up feeling guilty or shame for doing or saying the things that you wouldn't do otherwise. So the more and more you build that strength within you, the more positive boundaries you will be able to create for yourself. And I am very, very big on creating boundaries, because this is one thing that we have not been taught. We have not been taught to say no to the things that are toxic for us. We're not taught to say no to relationships, or even certain habits or way of thinking that are not healthy for us. So the more your inner strength grows, the more your inner power grows, the more you will be able to develop healthy boundaries for yourself. And what does healthy boundary looks like? For example, a very simple example. One of your relative or your friend calls you to do something, but this is something you don't enjoy doing, but you have been doing it just because of whatever, it could be. It could be because you always wanted to be part of the group, or you wanted to feel included, or you wanted to be accepted for whatever reason. It's so the more and more you start recognizing what is okay with you, what is not okay with you, what you will do, what you will not do, because how it feels, that connection between from your feelings to here leads to your action automatically. So the more you will be able to develop boundaries, and more you practice your healthy boundaries, the more you are regaining your inner power. And when you have your inner power, you walk in as the person who you not use you say you want to be. You just be that person. There's an energy about you, because we do not communicate with the words. Even right now, what I'm saying is probably half of the words are going out of your mind, but what you experience, how it makes you feel, is what will help you move forward and take and execute what you are learning about yourself right now. And again, I would highly encourage you to, whatever that I'm sharing with you, for you to take it back and reflect. Question first, ask yourself that, who is controlling my energy right now, and what is controlling my energy right now? My thoughts, where is it right now most of? Is it a fear and doubt based, or is it in the place of love, trust? Meaning, am I trusting myself to show up? Or am I trusting enough that everything and anything that is happening around me is happening for me, because it is reflecting a part of me and is showing me that, you know what, this is the area where I need to show up and I need to work at. Or vice versa, that, you know what, this here is showing me that I'm on the right track, doing the right thing, so I need to continue doing more of that. So 3 things to pay attention to. Who are you with? Who are the type of, what are the type of people that you have right now? What do they reflect about you? Your environment, subconsciously or subliminally, what messages are they giving me about myself? And my actions, of course. Which course meaning, what are some of the activities are taking up my energy and my mind space? So 3 things again to reflect on. So what are the things that are people, situation, and environment are controlling my energy? And further going down into it, that what am I doing to protect my energy? Am I setting healthy boundaries? And I can only set healthy boundaries by accepting what is as is, without wanting to change it, because it's not about me to change anything. It's about for me to reflect on myself and observe what I need to change and where I need to make changes in. And again, setting up my standards, which we shared. How do I set up my standards? I set up my standards by reminding myself who I truly am. And who am I truly am, meaning, as we all know, we are not connecting ourselves with the body, but this powerful force that is occupying this body. And going back to the deep core of my truth. And my truth is that I'm a powerful, peaceful, loving soul. So if I'm not exercising that, and if I'm not practicing that, what are some of the things? What are some of the patterns? What are some of my own habits? And what are some of my own thoughts and inner dialogue that is taking me away from my own truth? And once you realize that, which is homework for all of you to do your own, because for all of you, it's different. But one thing we all have in common that is taking us away is when we disqualify our own selves. We're dismissing, we are neglecting, and we're avoiding what we are feeling. Because our feeling is the compass. It is the indicator telling us where we are. If we're not feeling peaceful, then we're feeling the opposite. So what is it? So I go back, I observe, I reflect, and once I do that, I accept. And now once I've accepted it, let me see, what do I want to experience and what do I need to do in order to shift my energy? And that's where your power lies. Your power lies not at the end result, but it's the whole process. It's the process of you going back to yourself. It's like right now, each and every one of us, we have the story that we tell our mind. I ask you, what is your story that you're telling yourself? Are you telling yourself the story that, you know what, this shall do
ਇਹੀ
pass?
ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ even ਨਿਆਣੇ ਵੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਭਈ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਵੀ ਪਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ
Just,
ਲਾਈਫ ਕਿੱਡੀ ਛੇਤੀ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ
G.
ਨਹੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਈਵਨ ਹੁਣ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹਜੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੋਰੇ ਐਨ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਕੱਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੈੱਟ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਟੱਟ ਮਰੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਆਏ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਾ ਬਸ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ ਜਾਨੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਐਨ ਪੂਰੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਹਨਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਵੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਉਮਰ ਹੁਣ ਬਸ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਸੋਚ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਣਗੇ
ਜੀ
ਹਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਜਦ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਰਿਐਲਿਟੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਜਣਾ ਫਿਰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ
ਜੀ
ਸੁਪਨਾ ਹੀ ਸੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਤਾਂ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਸੀ ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਕੀਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਈਵਨ ਹੁਣ ਗਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਪਈ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਆ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਈ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਣੀ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕੋ ਕੋਈ ਜਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਨੋ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਬਣਾ ਲਈ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੀ ਹੀ ਰਹਿਣੀ ਹੈ ਨੋ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੁੱਕਣ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਰ ਇਹ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੀ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਆ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਨੱਠੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 'ਚ ਐਨਰਜੀ ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਂਭ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਨੱਠ ਭੱਜ ਕੇ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ
Sorry about that. I'm not sure if it was part of the conversation and it was asked as a question. However, to respect all our participants, I'm just going to share what one of our participants was saying. Basically, she's sharing that life moves on really, really fast. You know, we start off our life living for ourselves, not even ourselves, really for our family. And then we get married and we have kids. And when the kids get married, they move on. And that's when you realize and seeps in that, you know what? Life is slipped out of our hands. Now what? So if this was part of the conversation that you were sharing, thank you for sharing. And yes, you're right. You know, life is very, very short. And yet we think we have lifetime. But even in this lifetime, we do have that piece of life that is complete in itself. And that is our work to do that. You know what? Now that we're here, while we are while we're playing our role, while we're taking care of our responsibilities, what is my responsibility to myself? Because we are creating our life, each relationship, every contribution that we make, it is a reflection of us. And what shows up to us is merely a projection. So when we experience fears and we're covering our love, then even that fear is here to serve us. Even our pain is here to serve us. But unfortunately, rather than making that as our power, rather than making that as our empowerment and step forward for us to show up to the new us, we give our power away to it by neglecting it or avoiding it or even dismissing it, because there's a part of us that does not know how to show up to it. So that was a very, very good reflection, and coming back to that is where you become, as I was sharing, you become your own boss. What does it even mean? How do you even do that? How does it even help us to take our own power back? Well, being your own boss, meaning being kind to yourself enough to observe what's happening inside and telling yourself that, you know what, you are safe, you are protected, and here you're to live your best life, meaning you're here to become your best self, irrespective of your weaknesses or your strength, because it's all here to serve. Even our obstacles, even our challenges that we are giving our power away to, whereas on the contrary, it is here to show us that, you know what, you've done this before, you've got this, you're much more stronger than what you think you are, because if you weren't, this would not have shown up. It's like as we go up to different levels in the building, you're not going to experience the same ambience if you're on the third floor versus on the fifth. And it just gets better and better and better the higher you go. That is exactly our responsibility. Our work is for ourselves in order to own and take that power back. Meaning, which brings me to our next point, which is very important, is to honor our own authenticity. You know, we get stuck. Where we get stuck is when we start to compare ourselves with the other people. And we do that on many levels, whether it is materialistically, whether it is energetically, whether it is with even how a person is in their accomplishments. So that when we get stuck in that oh, that person has this, I also want this, versus taking it a form of inspiration that, you know what, I wonder what that person does because I love what they do and I also want to experience. So let me see, what did they do to get where they are so I can also take the same steps. So it's the perception and it's the acceptance of where you are, where you want to get, and realizing that there are certain steps, so key things, key development and key mindsets that I need to develop within myself in order to get there. And being easy with yourself, being kind with yourself, and meeting yourself where you are in order to take yourself where you want to go. And that's very important in owning or reclaiming your power. Where we lose our power is when we leave ourselves behind and we become the doer versus the being. When you do what you are doing by coming back and taking yourself with you, meaning being in the moment, is where you are powerful, where your power lies, because you're not in the past, you're not worrying about the future, you are right here in the now. Everything we do here in the now, in the present, is the power that will create your future. And as we all know, we're not the physical being, we're the energy. So if we're energy, that means we don't ever get destroyed and it never dies. It always evolves. It always carries on, meaning where we are today, we're going to come back in circle and we're going to come back here again and connect with the same individual doing the same thing for whatever reason we are here to do that we're meant to do. So therefore, as we remain in the present, we are giving, we're able to give our full undivided attention for what the circumstances, what the situation, what the people involved, and what you yourself need to give yourself. You can never show up and give your undivided attention if you are out in the past or if you're way further in the future. Bring yourself right here in the now. And even for that, there's a technique that I would like to share with you. And if you're open to it, we can practice right now if you all agree. Yes, if you would like to do so. All right. So I'm assuming you're saying yes. So why don't we again take a pause here and take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And this technique here, other than, of course, breathing, to be in the present will help you observe and just bring yourself in the moment here and now. So you can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open. I want you to see 5 things right now that are catching your attention. 5 things. You can either see it in your mind or you can see it in your environment around you. Like, for example, me right now, I can see the screen, I can see the chair, I can see the plant in front of me, I can see my book, and I can see my pen. So these are 5 things that I can see. And now I want you to bring your attention to 4 things that you can hear. For example, I can hear the birds chirping outside. I can hear my chair making the noise when I'm moving. I can hear my own sound, my own voice. And I can hear the silence in this room when I quiet down for a moment. And now I want you to smell 3 things that you can smell right now in your environment. I can hear the smell of my lemon diffuser. I can smell the smell of the paper. And I can smell the fresh wind blowing through the window right now. Now I want you to feel 2 things that you can touch. And lastly, but not least, the one emotion that you're feeling right now. And where are you feeling that? In your head, in your mind, in your heart, or in your soul. Whenever you're ready, you can come back in this space. So this is a very, very powerful technique to bring yourself in the present, here, in the now, for you to feel where it is that you are at. So another power of being in the present is, again, as I said, present is the only place where you have your power, where you can reclaim your power. And that is by accepting where you are, as circumstances and as people around you are, and understanding and realizing that we cannot change anybody or anything but our own selves. And we begin that by changing our perspectives, observing our beliefs, observing our own responses and our reactions, and start to take that step by becoming your own boss and honoring your own authenticity. And one of the other things, last thing that I would like to share with you is developing a community where it's almost like love of your own kind that helps you to cultivate that part of you that you want to connect and you would like to see and experience more of. So rather than giving your power away by disqualifying yourself, dismissing yourself, minimizing your emotions, or neglecting and avoiding the very things that needs your attention, which is you yourself, meaning your emotions, the more and more you start to connect with that, Start preserving your energy. Start raising your energy by, like I said, there's few techniques that we actually experimented with. The more and more you develop that muscle, it will help you strengthen your inner peace, your inner calmness, and your self-confidence in itself. So the more and more you develop that, you strengthen that, it will help you regain and cultivate your inner power. And the more and more you start connecting to that part is where you can make the necessary changes and make the necessary shifts that are required from you. So it's like no longer avoiding, neglecting the child who's crying in the room. It's now walking up to it, picking it up, holding it, love it, irrespective of whatever it's crying for. It's about time where you hold, love, and give what it needs. And that means self-care, a lot of self-care and self-love in order to increase and develop and regain your own strength and your own power. Okay. So any questions you may have, please do share. We can do another meditation before we do, but it's important that if you have any questions on this or any sharing, if you would like to do so. Yeah. I believe you're all muted, so whoever would like to share, you can unmute maybe, and then share quickly before we do our meditation. Cannot hear you. Okay. So I'm assuming we're all ready for meditation. Our closing off meditation, yes? Okay. All right. So I'll play a little music here. Bringing my attention to the center of my forehead. I sit back and I relax and I take this moment for myself to reflect and observe. I observe my inner world. I walk into and I be with myself in my beautiful sanctuary of multiple colors and emotions and the rainbow of my being and my existence. As a detached observer, sitting in the comfort and safety of my own sanctuary, it's like I'm observing from the window outside of my version who is playing its roles, responsibilities, and carrying on duties in its personal, professional, social, and in the world, just in its existence. Sitting in my safe sanctuary, protected and well taken care of, I observe the being who is playing all the roles and yet feels somewhere powerless, stuck, disempowered. I gently get the attention of the existence of myself in the world, and I remind myself that the very things that are taking my power away from me are the very things that are here to strengthen me. The very obstacles, the very challenges that are felt are disempowering me, causing me anxieties or stress, are the very things that are here telling me that I've neglected a part of that growth for a long period of time that now needs my attention, and I must give it the attention. I remind myself that I'm much more stronger than I've been giving myself credit for. I remind myself that my responses and my reactions are in my control. I am in control. And I remind myself to exercise and explore more of my inner guidance, my own GPS. Listen to my intuition more and more, because that is the God-provided system within me, God-provided support within me that is guiding me, protecting me. Therefore, I develop more and more of that. I listen to my intuition, because it is here to guide me, to show me how I need to show up and what I need to give to the presented obstacles or so-called challenges, which are really opportunities in disguise. They're opportunities to strengthen me, to develop me, and take me and connect me to my higher self. Therefore, I empower myself more and more. I believe in myself more and more. I take care of myself more and more. I declutter and cleanse my inner world more and more. I practice being in the present a lot more often. I practice taking care of my mind, my soul, as well as my body a lot more. So I fill my vessel with the divine love. And it flows in me, through me, a lot more. I tell myself a new story, and I change my script. Take the control of my own story and give it a new direction by believing in myself more and more. because I know I'm safe, I'm protected, and I'm guided by the greatest of all. And I connect to that part of myself more and more while I'm playing my roles, fulfilling my responsibilities, and perhaps clearing up my karma. But one thing I know for sure, I'm not alone. I have the greatest power of the divine who guides me, who supports me, and directs my every course of action because I remain open. I remain open to listen, receive, and execute my calling. Therefore, I reclaim my inner peace, my inner power, more and more. I'm safe, I'm protected, and I'm guided. Om Shanti. So I'd like to take this opportunity and say thank you to all of you for showing up and creating the space and sharing the space. And my goal is that, my hope is that whatever you take and realize, you're able to implement and regain your inner power and your inner peace. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and I wish you love, happiness, and peace. And we'll see you next week with another topic with another sister.